Hey y'all, welcome back to Young and Flourishing Collective. We are still in our elevation series for taking territory in whatever space that God has given us. So we're currently in the book of Joshua. We've talked about how this new season, us taking territory, is not just for us, it's for us to help bring people into what God has promised them. It's for us to elevate, it's for us to come out of the low place and cross over our Jordan, whatever that is. It's a time for us to be discerning in the people that are around us, to stay humble during the building. Even though God has already given us the territory, we're still staying humble, we're still staying focused, and we're following God. So today we're talking about strategy. We're talking about strategy as we're building, strategy, and just walking in obedience. So the children of Israel have already crossed over the Jordan. We're now at the walls of Jericho. So Jericho had these really tall walls. The city was shut in, but here we are, right? And so there's always a system and a order in which you have to do things. So as the children of Israel got to the wall of Jericho, there is a certain order that God told them to walk around the wall. So he had the men that are armed first, right? The protection. And then he had the priests with the ram's horns. And then he had the Ark of the Covenant. And then everybody else followed after the ark, right? So when God gives you territory, he's going to give you the protection and the provision for you to go into that territory. But as you're going into this territory, you cannot go before God, right? The ark was kind of like a symbol of God's presence. So they call it the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark of Testimony, like, those different things. But the thing is, you don't go before God when you are walking in this season. Although something may look good, you think it's a good idea, like, oh, we're going to go ahead and go for it. God told me to do this. Wait on the Lord, and he's going to give you the strategy as you go into the land so that everything goes smoothly, right? And then another part of the strategy is to keep quiet, be quiet until it's time. Now, as the children of Israel were walking around this wall, Joshua told them, I don't want you to say nothing. Don't yell, don't whisper, don't do nothing, okay? Just walk. We just gonna walk around this wall. And can you imagine thousands of people walking on the wall, like around the wall? Do you know how loud that is? Like just thousands of footsteps. And then don't let them be in unison. It sounds like probably like a dang earthquake was going on. Like, could you imagine how, hold on. Could you imagine how much movement you're making when you are working in silence? When you don't tell anybody what's going on, when you don't let people know what you're doing, that's fewer distractions. Sometimes you go around and you tell people like, I'm about to do this, I'm about to do that, and here they come. Why you want to do that? What make you think you about to knock this wall down by just walking around it? Don't you think you need to hit it or something? Don't you think you need to do this, and that? Like people will literally come and just try to talk down on what you're doing, right? And so part of the strategy is to move in silence. We not popping out yet. We there, we in the territory, we in the land, but we still working the plan. We moving in silence. We letting the Lord go before us. He's already given us the territory, right? So how bad will it really hurt us to just sit and wait and work the plan so that everything will work out the way that it's supposed to, right? Why not just relax? Just do what it is God is calling you to do. You got enough to do. You don't need to be out here warfaring and try to fight off these thoughts that somebody else planted and all that because you done went and spoke before you were supposed to. Another part of this strategy is to believe that God has already given you the territory and just work the plan. And no matter what it may look like, you're going to walk by faith, right? So maybe God is sending you somewhere and it seems tainted and saturated, and you're just like, what am I about to do with this? So you remember there was like this boom in like entrepreneurship. Everybody started to make candles, everybody started to make t-shirts, everybody was just, whatever space you were looking in, it seemed like everybody was doing it. Like there were thousands of shops. But what if I told you it only seemed that way because that's what you were consuming? You do know if you watch something online, the algorithm is going to keep pushing that to you. But what makes you think, just like before you search for it, you didn't really know it existed. You didn't really know that there were this many people doing it. So I'm sure there's still millions of other people who don't know that this exists, right? So inside of the walls of Jericho, they had their idols. It was tainted. Why would we want to go into this space and take it? But the thing is, God said to burn everything, destroy everything that was inside the walls of Jericho, except for like the gold, the silver, things like that. All that bring back for the Lord, right? So it's like, even though your space may seem tainted, maybe maybe you want to sell on Etsy, but you're like, how do I sell on Etsy with all these other people on here? Y'all, as the children of God, we have to get into these spaces, especially Etsy. Like the New Agers, the witches, they have came in like a flood. They are literally selling people prayers. Selling people prayers for their wedding days, like to make it not rain and stuff like that. Like, y'all, we have to get in these spaces and we have to bring the people to the light. Clearly, people are looking for ways to make their life easier. So why not give them God? Because He is the way, the truth, and the light. Like, why not go into this space and bring your light? You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, even though it's saturated, as you work the plan, everything will be cleared up. It will be cleansed because God has already given you the territory. So He's already made a way. So there's no reason for you to go in following trends. There's no reason for you to go in doing what everybody else is doing. If you don't remember, in one of my previous episodes, we talked about how you can't be out here doing what everybody else doing. You can't be out here searching for how to do what it is that God called you to do unless He sends you to do that. Because remember, I went and I found that coach on podcasting, and I didn't agree with her work ethic and how she podcasts to make profit instead of actually helping people. It's all about, getting people to come to you so you can make more money instead of actually wanting to help people. So it's just like, you have to be careful with what you consume, with what you take in, because it'll taint your vision. It'll ruin your strategy because now you're doing somebody else's strategy instead of the one that God gave you. And the thing is, He's already told you what to do. So when you go and you follow somebody else's strategy, then you liable to be thrown off task. So there's another point in the book of Joshua where I forgot his name, but he had taken something from somebody that they had overtaken and he wasn't supposed to. And so the children of Israel had lost favor with God because he had taken this object. And so he died, his whole family died, like everybody died. And the thing is, we don't want that, right? We don't want to take somebody else's strategy. We don't want to take somebody else's thought process and try to apply it to what we're doing just because we think it's easier. You know what I'm saying? Because within you doing that, it'll slowly kill you. It'll kill what God is trying to accomplish through you. It'll kill your creativity. Like, just stick to the plan, stick to the system, and create a system. Ask God, like, Lord, how do you want me to do this? How do you want me to prepare my business? How do you want me to build my business? How do you want me to take over this territory? Right? All you have to do is ask, and God will send it to you. And make sure you stay humble, because you're going to pray that prayer. You're going to stay humble, and you're going to stay discerning. Because when you pray that prayer, God is going to send the answer. But you have to understand that the enemy will also try to send you a so-called answer. So you have to discern to see if that's truly the answer to the prayer that you have been praying. So I love y'all. I know it's kind of quiet. I be recording at the library, so I can't be too loud. But I love y'all. Oh, y'all. And on the last day, before they took over Jericho, they were told to shout. So when you shout, when you finally pop out, when you finally make noise, make sure you give the glory to God, and make sure you stick to what God has already told you. Don't pop out, get excited, and start, losing yourself. Or don't pop out and you feel like it didn't happen the way it was supposed to. Maybe you didn't get the sales you wanted or whatever, and then you start getting down. No, remember, stick to the plan, stick to the system, and work it. Continue working the plan, and you're gonna grow, right? If you look at a lot of the people who go viral, they be like, going viral ruined my business. So let's not focus on going viral. Let's focus on building and gaining the traction that God desires for us to gain, because He knows where we are. He knows what we can handle, right? So work the plan, create a system, stay humble, stay quiet until it's time to pop out. And when you pop out, continue to work the plan. Don't lose yourself. All right, I love you. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Out with the old, in with the new. I am chosen, and I can't ignore it anymore. I'm stepping out on faith. I'm going to new places, meeting people with no faces. North, south, east, west, wherever he goes, I will follow.